Hebrews 11:6, which says, "But without faith it is impossible to please him. For he that cometh to God must believe that he is, and that he's a rewarder of them that diligently seek him." Most people totally misunderstand this verse. The Greek is completely different than what the King James translation says. When the Bible says without faith, the word without is the word chorus. And this word chorus means to be outside of something, outside of something. For instance, for many, many years, my wife and I lived inside the city of Moscow. In fact, we lived just minutes from the Kremlin. From our house, it would take about 5 minutes to walk to Red Square. We lived inside the city. Today, we live outside the city. The word chorus, this same Greek word without, means to be outside the perimeters or outside the boundaries of that. Well, if you understand that's what the word without means, it totally changes this verse. Without faith literally means if you live outside the borders of faith. Outside the borders of faith. Which means you can live in faith or you can live out of faith. There is a place of faith and there's a place that's not faith. And if you read this verse in the context of Hebrews chapter 11, it talks about men and women that received a word from God. And as long as they stood by their word from God, they stayed in faith. But the moment they gave it up and abandoned it, suddenly they stepped out of the place of faith and they stood outside of faith. The only place where you're going to really please God is if you stay in faith, within the boundaries of faith, within the perimeters of faith, the very place where God called you. That's where we please God. Doesn't matter how hard it is or how long it takes. If you stay where God called you in faith, that's where you're going to please him. And listen to how the verse could be translated. When you live outside of faith, living beyond its boundaries and perimeters, you make it impossible to please God. So today I want to ask you, are you living in faith or are you living outside of faith? And if you find that you have drifted from a place of faith, it's time for you to come home. And when you get there, you'll bring great pleasure to the heart of God.